You know, we go to the doctor, we get our blood work done, and they tell us cholesterol's too high, and you know, if it is, then they either work on our diet or they give us a prescription medication to get the cholesterol down. And sometimes we just never really understand the whole cholesterol 101 that we need to know about cholesterol and what can be done and how we can help ourselves in so many different ways. But this is a great topic. I think it will help a lot of people. And Dr. Rouse, I know you've done a lot of research, and cholesterol is something you've been studying since your early days, all the way back to pharmacy school. So I'm going to turn this over to you. You've got some great information to share with us tonight. We appreciate you being on the call tonight.
Thank you, Gloria. And I did have fun with the Canadian physicians as we just looked into it little by little. Their questions were intriguing, and the more research I moved into, the more I realized how blessed we are to be in the Visi family, and especially to be taking the Visi Wellness product on a day-to-day. This the miracle of the Scandinavian berry, it is unbelievable. So let's talk about cholesterol tonight and what's going on and the basic ins and outs. Some people don't realize it, but cholesterol in your human body is a very good thing. It plays a much needed and an important role in your human metabolism. Did you know that cholesterol is primarily a component of the cell membranes, you know? And when you look at all the things that the cholesterol are doing for you in the human body, you say, whoa, we need cholesterol. We need it. We've got to have it. You are absolutely correct. You would die without cholesterol. It's a precursor to your adrenal steroids. How many times have we talked about the adrenal steroids and how well you got to feel energy-wise, and the other steroid hormones, including all your sex hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Every single one of those are built with the cholesterol molecule, including the famous, necessary, everybody's talking about it, vitamin D. I mean, when the sunshine hits your skin, the sunshine is activating cholesterol in the cell structure to make vitamin D. So that's neat, isn't it? And in itself, cholesterol has many, many vital roles. It is literally produced by almost every cell in the human body, and it is what makes your cells waterproof. What I mean by that is now the cells, there can be a different chemistry on the inside of the cell compared to what's on the outside of the cell. Waterproof, osmosis, allowing minerals to stay in the water inside, and the water different from the outside, waterproofing the cell. And cholesterol is no doubt one of God's awesome repair substances, because anytime you have an interior wound, you know, like a vein, a capillary, an artery, anytime that you have a wound structure on the inside and inside the human body will use cholesterol to repair it, to patch it, to fix things up. And that includes scratches and irritation in the artery walls. You know, we're always talking about strokes and heart attacks being caused by bad arteries and blood clots and things like that. This is where we protect ourselves. So cholesterol is not only necessary for your arteries to stay healthy, cholesterol is vital to the function of the brain and the nervous system. It actually is vital in protecting every human being against depression, because the body uses cholesterol in the utilization of serotonin, the body's feel-good chemical. When you got lots of good, wholesome serotonin, you're happy. You're not molly-grubbed. you're not moody blued. You're not crying in the depression. And another thing cholesterol does is that it builds bile salts, B-I-L-E, bile salts, that your body needs for proper digestion of fats. They're all made from cholesterol. So what we find then is that cholesterol is very important. Cell membranes, adrenal steroids, sex hormone, vitamin D, waterproofing the cells, repairing the wounds, brain and nervous system function, including serotonin, the antidepressant hormone, and the digestion of fats. So as we move along, like on the next slide, it is well known that an elevated low-density serum cholesterol, they abbreviate that LDL, and you can remember it. That's bad. L stands for lousy, the low-density lipoprotein. And so the difference between HDL, which is good, we call the HDL healthy. H stands for healthy. LDL, L stands for lousy. And we know that elevated LDL cholesterol levels are associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular heart disease, brain function, strokes. And cholesterol is transported in the blood. It's not water soluble, and the only way that it can get a ride is to piggyback. And cholesterol, in order to move from here to there, travels in the blood by a lipoprotein, meaning a fat stuck to a protein. The amino acids have a fatty structure to them. And so we start measuring them. VLDL, very little, very low density, too tiny, too small, so small it can sneak into places and disrupt. The LDL, the low density lipoprotein, another too small, and it too gets so small that it gets trapped in different places. But a healthy, high-density lipoprotein is just right. It has a unique way of helping bust the system, clean things up. And LDL becomes most damaging when it becomes oxidized. Now, one of the worst things that people can do on any diet and on any heart-healthy living standard is to skip breakfast. Because as soon as you skip breakfast in the morning and then you eat infrequently during the day, you might be only eating one or two sporadic meals during the day and no breakfast at all. These irregular meal frequencies are going to spike your total cholesterol and raise your lousy LDL cholesterol levels. So never skip breakfast. And don't be skimpy on breakfast, because you're killing your heart, creating a condition called stroke. And it's all because you're eating too infrequently. And even decreasing dietary cholesterol in the foods you eat will relatively have a very small effect on lowering your total cholesterol, because guess what? The body itself creates about 80% of your cholesterol. You understand that it's your body producing it. Rarely is it the food that you're eating. And because HDL, the good, healthy cholesterol, is responsible for returning fats back to the liver instead of taking them to other body parts, the higher the HDL, the healthier the cardiovascular system. And so we look at ratios. On the screen I've written the ratios of total cholesterol in relationship to HDL, healthy good cholesterol. And then there are ratios between lousy and healthy. And when we start measuring the ratios between the LDL and the HDL, those numbers clearly indicate whether somebody is at a very high cardiovascular risk for heart attack and stroke, because they reflect whether cholesterol is being deposited in the tissues, clumping up and clogging up, or whether it's being transported by the HDL back to the liver to be biled out and excreted. So we do want to get a total cholesterol, and we measure the VLDL, the LDL, and the HDL, and we want to be below 200. And in that 200 number, we want your LDL to be less than 130. Because if your LDL or your your VLDL and the LDL, the lousies, are up, you're already clogged up. So we say, in a very simple way, more important than taking down cholesterol totally or LDL is raising up the HDL, because that's healthy. And men, you must get it above 40. You must. And women, you must get yours above 50. 50 because you have more female hormones that need HDL and need cholesterol to build it. And the age 65 and up group, it's imperative, absolutely necessary, that you get your HDL up into the 50 regimen. Otherwise, you are high statistic for stroke or heart attack. And the total cholesterol in relationship to the HDL needs to be in a ratio of less than 4.2. And then when we compare the LDL, less than 130, to the HDL, greater than 40, that ratio needs to factor out to less than 2.5. And here's the neat thing about it. For every 1% drop in your bad, lousy LDL, your risk of heart attack drops double, 2%. So for every one you lose, we double the chance of staying healthy. But here's something even better. Here's what the Canadian physicians recognize. Here's what they were asking Dr. Charlie this week. Are you certain that the Scandinavian berries raise the HDL? And I said, absolutely, emphatically so. And guess what? For every 1% increase in the HDL, the good, healthy cholesterol, the cardiovascular risk quadruples. It drops, the risk drops by a healthy 3 to 4% margin. So for every 1% we raise the HDL, the risk drops 4%, quadrupling the healthy side of it. So boosting HDL levels is a good idea. And you can't do that with a standard American diet. It's too sad, S-A-D, standard American diet. Because in the standard American diet, we're always emphasizing refined foods. They're number one on the table. Refined sugars, a poor balance of fatty acids. We don't eat enough olive oil. We don't eat enough walnut. We don't eat enough healthy. We get all the gunky, no good. And we need to be especially cautious of anything that's processed. Processed foods. It comes out of a box. Anything that's processed, whooped up, ground down, beat up, it contains bad vegetable oils. Bad vegetable oils or trans fatty acids. Trans fats, by the way, were made popular years ago. They are the original fats used to make candles. But with the advent of electricity, the trans fats and the candle making business sort of went south. And people started saying, well, what are we going to do with them? We'll put them in cookies. put them in pies, put them in stuff, but let people eat them. Wrong. And when the inflammatory changes start damaging the lining, the actual lining of the blood vessel, what happens is you're going to have a migration of white blood cells immediately showing up at the injured artery. So when you got LDL, bad cholesterol, trying to stick around, gummy up, it's gonna nick, it's gonna cut, it's gonna abrade the interior part of the artery. You're bleeding internally. And now the white blood cell goes over there to say, look, we can't be bleeding over here. We got to stop that right now. And we don't want any infection, so more white blood cells show up at the injured artery. And the inflammation further hurts the area by causing oxidative damage, rust. We're rusting on the inside. And that is when the body starts calling for a Band-Aid. It says, hey, the white blood cells can't mop it up. The oxidation, the rust is starting to show up. We need a Band-Aid to cover up the injured area. And guess what the body likes to use for Band-Aiding arteries that have been nicked or inflamed? It's called LDL cholesterol. Do you hear it? Lousy cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. So now you got an artery that needs help. It needs a Band-Aid, and the body says, bring on the cholesterol. And here it comes floating up the river, LDL, bad cholesterol. And thus, when the LDL, the bad cholesterol, the lousy itself, begins to also get oxidized, the artery, the Band-Aid, gets clumpy and gooey, and artery blocking plaque, foam cells, and then plaque cells start building up and clogging up the pipeline. So listen, do not blame your cholesterol for heart disease. Do not do that. Do not blame your cholesterol for heart disease. That would be like blaming your Band-Aid or your scraped knee. Let's get to the root cause. It's not the Band-Aid's fault. The problem is you didn't have enough HDL to carry the bad gunk out of there and keep things smooth and clean. So the good cholesterol, the HDL, is the part of the human body that we need more of in the repair system. You see, as the HDL moves through the blood vessels, moves through the arteries, it scoops up the LDL, the lousy cholesterol, and returns excess, overflow, returns it to the liver so that it can be broken down. And the HDL, healthy cholesterol, does all this marvelous stuff without putting your liver at risk. Like, they have prescription drugs called statin drugs that put your liver at risk. But the HDL does not put your liver at risk, which leads me to the power of why we got on this talk tonight. They're called plant sterols, STEROLS. And in the clinical trials, the plant sterols, the sterolines, which are the good fats of plants, both increased HDL cholesterol levels, and as that happened, there was a lowering of inflammation, lowering the inflammatory C-reactive protein levels, the gunky bad protein that had all this fat stuck to it. C-reactive protein goes down. Now these plant nutrients gently and naturally reduce the amount of cholesterol the body absorbs, and more importantly, reabsorbs through the digestive system. So what I was telling the doctors, they asked me, give me point-blank specifics, the mechanism of action. Well, here it is. Plant sterols, which are in the powerful Scandinavian Arctic berry, they are functional foods. And the plant nutrients are causing the body to not reabsorb the bad cholesterol. You see, these are functional foods, phytosterols, and they actually work on a very simple principle. They take over the sites in the intestines where bad cholesterol would like to sit and would be either absorbed or reabsorbed. But the plant sterols are created by God in the perfect shape, in the absolute form, like a jigsaw puzzle, perfect fit, so much like bad cholesterol that they fit perfectly into the spot, the parking place, or somewhere along the driveway through which cholesterol would normally absorb. So these same plant sterols help prevent reabsorption of old, used up, oxidized cholesterol that our body's trying to excrete. It keeps them in the colon and allows the body to excrete, to get rid. And once our liver dumps the waste, you see that the HDL has taken the bad, moved it over to the liver, broken it up and cleaved it down, and now built from HDL bile salts, which are now going to dump into the colon. And when the liver dumps the waste cholesterol into the intestine, it really needs to latch on to good fiber, a fiber source, and be carried out of the body. So listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. People who have a low-fiber diet are in extreme real danger of having bad cholesterol reabsorbed again and again. Now you got the oxidized gunk coming from the gunk, moving back into the blood. That's terrible. Please eat more fiber every single day, all the way, because what your body is doing with the phytosterols is getting everything clean, and it needs a fiber to stick it to exit it out of the body. You see, what happens is that the fiber diet really does help block reabsorption, and therefore the plant sterols are majorly beneficial to your overall health. They act as anti-inflammatories. They reduce the advanced glycation in products that are aging you. They lower the levels of C-reactive protein. They decrease the levels of vascular cell adhesion molecules. It keeps the blood vessel more supple, more flexible, more pliable. This in turn reduces blood pressure. Isn't it neat? Good HDL, plant sterols, reduce blood pressure, minimizing the chance of blood platelets from aggregating and clumping, preventing blood clots, and at the same time allowing the HDL to do the rebuilding, better brain cells, better cell structure with a shield, keeping the wetness in and out. The most important approach to lowering high cholesterol is a healthful diet and a lifestyle. And now's a good time to engage your actions with the world's best product called Visi Wellness. What does clinically supported research declare about the active ingredients in the wellness product? It supports healthy cholesterol levels already within normal range, which is good because that means we're not allowing the gunk to reabsorb. It increases the good cholesterol, the HDL levels, by an average of 14%. It provides powerful antioxidant protection. It supports healthy circulation. It reduces free radical oxidative damage. It's a powerful immune system enhancer. Yeah, everybody's going to need protection this winter with the cold, the pneumonia, the flu, and at the same time it lowers C-reactive protein levels by greater than 30%. So do not let cholesterol become a 4-letter word with 11 letters. Find the right ratio of good to bad lipids and do it with a super nutritional, an all-natural product, and we call it Visi. Visi means engage. Engage. Lead the way. Engage with the Wellness Pack. And the Wellness Pack will boost your HDL sky high. And when you're riding high on HDL, the other cholesterol does not matter. The body is producing 80% of your cholesterol. You can watch your diet on the other 20% and never skip breakfast. It's important for a lifestyle change to make the difference. And that's the rest of the story on the skinny on cholesterol.
Well, that's awesome information, Dr. Rouse. Thank you so much. And I tell you, we need this nutrition. It's very sophisticated. It's not like you can go down to your local Walgreens store and get the plant sterile nutrition that we get with the Visi Wellness. I mean, this is one of a kind. It's such superior nutrition, and we're so thankful to have it here with Visi. And, you talked about adding fiber, and, if someone gets up in the morning and eats a good bowl of oatmeal, puts some fresh fruit on the top, and eats more fruits like apples and things like that, in the early part of the day, and even, for snacks and things like that, that in and of itself is a good source of fiber, wouldn't you say?
100%. If I had to name any way in the world to get fiber, I would say those who are into fruits and vegetables, blending them together, the more fruit and the more vegetable blending, the better it is. And if everybody listening were ever to come to Jack and Gloria's house, I guarantee you would enjoy yourself, because they are experts at chopping up good old fruit and good old vegetables, and we even have avocado with our eggs and strawberry, you name it. It's a good mix. You are right, fruits and vegetables.
Well, thank you so much, and this has been a fantastic call. And again, I hope everyone learned a little bit tonight, and definitely take your Visi Wellness, and we are right in the middle of flu season, so protect yourself. You've got the best on the market, so enjoy it. And thank you so much, Dr. Rouse, for coming on here tonight and sharing this information with us.
All right. Happy Cholesterol Day.